That's better. We got this. Where's my convoy? There he is. There's a lot of tooting going on. Oh, rip. I thought I'd left loads of room. Oh my god. Honestly, I thought this thing is massive. I thought I'd left loads of room. I think the AI is freaking out though. WTF, thank you for 43 months. Alright, now we're good to go. Jeez, man. It's okay on the open roads. Yeah, it's just those. The thing is about that was I didn't go too far to the left in case the convoy controller said, "Oh, you've not behind me anymore," and then it fails the mission. And as a result, yeah, when I cut back, it just didn't work. Ooh, I thought the chopper was going to lose something then. Keep curly toes Mark II safe. It can't be curly toes. It's not the right colour. And it doesn't actually have curly toes at the front. Crackling on your audio PC. Yeah, it's usually a cable problem. If you get crackling, it's almost always a loose contact inside the cable. Or the headset. You have to find the problem by eliminating it. So you need to get different headphones and try them. If that doesn't fix it, it's the cable. Some kind of extension cable, maybe. Until you find the problem. The thing is, if you change the source on your monitor to PS4, it works fine. Change the source on your monitor to PS4. Well, I don't know what your setup is. I don't know what your headphones are plugged into. I'm just saying that whenever I've had static in my headphones like that, it's usually caused by a faulty wire somewhere along the line that basically inside there's like a ground and wires, and if something's shorting. and that's where you get the static from. Uh-oh, I need to do some work. This doesn't look easy. Yeah, okay. This is going to be bad. This is going to be bad. What? That was weird. The parking brake wasn't on, but it was on. Like I put the parking brake off and on again and it was fine. Of course, it really helps doing this at night as well. That was very tight. You pretty much get one shot at that. Joe Baker Boy, thank you for 51 months, by the way. And Sea Devils Wonka back. No, you're not reading the fuel gauge right at all. I don't know which dial you're looking at, but the one with the fuel tank says full. Whenever you do a special delivery, they fill your tanks up. Not at the moment, Liam, no. I'm flying out of North Weald. Just a right turn back onto a major road again. Do I know the North Weald Marshallers? Not personally, no. No, Matty, I'm in the North Weald flying group and they have a bunch of planes. I decided to go with that option instead of buying a share in a plane. You have flown into Rougham near Bury St Edmunds. I've flown over Bury St Edmunds, but not landed at Rougham. Why is that where you're based out of, Liam? Hey, Phoenix. You did your first solo there. It's still work there now and again. Prince Squirrel getting an Escort. I think you'll find that's Lord Squirrel, not Prince Squirrel. If you're ever over in Kent, can recommend the Headcorn Airfield. They often have Spitfires there every weekend. I don't fly weekends though, guy. I don't know. I don't even know if I'd want to fly, even without my job being as it is. I don't know if I'd want to fly GA at weekends. I kind of like flying the weekdays when there's not that many people doing it. It's Dictator El Squirrelo. It's Democratic Dictator El Squirrelo if you want to use the full title, Baz. GJ Dubsy, thank you for 49 months. You know, you might as well have the full Monty title, right? There is indeed a rear escort vehicle. We just can't see him. If we started to reverse into him, he'll start screaming at us. King John II had 1,200 titles. Well, when you're the kind of person that can just tell people how it is, you can have as many titles as you want, right? In your democratic elections, do you have the choice of squirrel or squirrel? Yeah, they have. The ballot paper has 4 options on it. One says squirrel, one says Lord Squirrel, one says El Squirrelo, and one says El Squirrel. And they can choose from any they want. It's a democratic dictatorship after all. It's not rigged. You got 4 choices. 4 different titles. You choose whichever title you want. What are we hauling? That. You got a surge protector. The surge protector's built onto all of my extension leads. Surge protectors are kind of pointless these days, given that most households have like RCD breakers and stuff. Sajet, thank you for 15 months. Your choice is option 5. There is no option 5. Option 5 is a stint in the gulag. That's a bit harsh. What a enormous flight in North Wales, Cessna 172. They have 152s. I think they have a 150, I can't remember. I don't fly those. They have 172s and they have a PA-28 Warrior, which until I get to 100 hours I'm not allowed to fly yet. I thought about getting to 100 hours and then cross-training back onto the PA-28 because I used to like that. But I like, I don't mind the 172s, there's loads of headroom in them. I just wish they had more modern equipment. Because I think the Warrior isn't, it's not the one, it's like quite a fast Warrior, I think, if I remember. I can't remember the details. I think the Warrior is loaned, like, the group owns the 172s and the 150s, but the Warrior is privately owned and loaned to the group. And one of the specifications for the insurance is that the pilot has to have 100 hours. It's literally the only one in the group like that. But as a result, fewer people fly it, which means it's actually in good condition. Which is one of the reasons I want to fly it. Yeah, well, when I first got my PPL, after I flew the Robins, I trained onto the Warrior 2. And then my school decided to get rid of the Warrior 2. So I trained onto the Cessna 172. I still enjoy flying the Warriors. They're a bit more restricted on the headroom though. And I really don't like the fact that Pipers only have one door on them. Yeah, and the door is not on your side. which always kind of makes me feel slightly uneasy. Thank you for 38 months, Barrel. Alpha Kilo. Alpha Kilo's one of them. There's about 4. If you go on the North Wheel website, you can see all the planes they've got. They all begin with yeah, sorry, Alpha Kilo was the Earl's Combe one. The ones at North Wheel all begin with NW, I think. Yeah, it's perfectly legal. Now you get your PPL, still booking lessons do you hire per hour at North Weald? Normally you fly per hour in April. In fact, in a week's time I was supposed to be flying with an instructor to Calais to get my cross-channel thing checked out. But the weather's been so bad, I pushed it back to April, so... in fact, about a week before my birthday I'll be flying to Calais, weather permitting. With the instructor. Which will be interesting. Because there's like a bunch of things that you have to do when you fly over the channel. A bunch of forms that you have to fill in and procedures you have to go through so that people know when to send search and rescue out. Oh, Watersham. I talked to Watersham quite a bit. I've flown into Watersham actually. And they had an open day there. And we flew in. I flew a Cessna 172 into Watersham and looked around the Apaches and stuff. It's quite good. Oh, if there's one thing about aviation is that there's always paperwork. You can't get around that. Yeah, you do need a passport. And it, you know, it could potentially get more tricky as well now because they've announced that the CAA won't be following EASA rules anymore, so flying to Europe's going to get more fun. I must admit, I do like the physical flap handle of the Warrior. I do like that. No, I just like underwings. I think they fly. It's a lot smoother. I mean, the 172 will glide forever. But the Warriors just fly a bit smoother, you know? Yeah, Langeveld is getting messy. Yeah, if you look on the website, it was announced this week. The CAA is going to go its own way. Well done. Just what we need. More paperwork. Okay, literally can't see a thing. I have no idea what's going on. I'm stuck on something that I can't even see. Yeah, I know some people who are transferring... Oh my god. I know some people are transferring the license over to Ireland, but then it's kind of pointless in a way. Because either the CAA and the EASA are going to have some kind of reciprocal agreement, or they're not. And if they don't, well, it won't matter if you moved your license to Ireland or not. But yeah, it's just stupid and messy. You do, Langerville? I mean, if you're flying commercially, instrument rules and stuff, it's going to get very interesting. I really don't see the point of the CAA going its own way. I really don't understand that decision. Unless they're going to align themselves with the FAA. Like, what is the point of having standards and then all separating out and doing your own thing? It's like everybody agreeing to do USB, and then the UK just goes, yeah, we'll do USB, but we'll make a slightly different version of USB. Like, well, that's not a standard, is it? Life just gets easier when everybody sings off the same hymn sheet. Gavin, welcome back. I was looking for you in Red Dead. Couldn't find you. Well, there's a guy looking for you anyway. Carl Cook, welcome back. Barrel, 38. Like, doing this delivery at night, you can't even check your mirrors to see what's going on. Because the lighting is just non-existent back there. And look at that. Is it to do with cost? I don't know. Like, a lot of the major airlines have come out and said, like, they don't want this. They don't want this to happen. EasyJet, Ryanair, lots of them have said we don't want to split away. It's just going to make their life more difficult. Yeah, the real problem is Pippa stealing toilet roll. That is a problem. She didn't even do anything with it. She just put it in a box. Like, she doesn't need toilet roll. She doesn't use toilet roll. She didn't eat it. She just put it in a box. Like, oh, fancy that. Wow. Looks like somebody's here to steal stuff from us. I'll be amazed if this lines up. Yeah, what a surprise. Use broadcast van, yeah. Big news, this. Russian sub. This thing is a real pain. Drive around, no way. Blimey. Yikes, that was interesting. Definitely have 1% damage. Fragile cargo bonus. Wait, what? Oh, the trailer, not the goods, was damaged. That paid out pretty well. Nothing wrong with the 777, but BA may seem to be retiring the 747 fleet. They'll probably replace them with Dreamliners. They might even go Airbus, you don't know. And you all the parts are trained on Boeings, aren't they? That was made twice as hard by being at night. Expense of a 777's a lot louder than the cabin of an A380. It would be an expensive thing to resert onto Airbus. Why does it generate? Why does the online job market generate a 50-mile trailer journey? Wow. Blimey. 1,000 miles. Go to Utah with a bulldozer. $700-mile trek from California to Utah. See the port angle is. Fun, Well, it depends which way you go. I mean, if you go this way, it won't be that fun. If you go up the 101, it'll be fun. But with that trailer, I'm not sure if fun is what I want. I don't have a preview of Idaho now. See you later, Jones. Yeah, I would. 101 would in that. Might go to Utah. I always remember that scene from Fletch. Remember Fletch? Where he says to his boss, yeah, I need to go to Utah. It's like, Utah? What do you want to go to Utah for? Does the new tanker only carry milk? Yeah, no, it only carries milk currently. Oh, it's definitely the ball bearings. I figured it was the bypass line. Yeah, definitely the bypass line. Yeah, Fletch is a funny film. And the music from Harold Faltermeyer is so good. Well, it looks like the pickup point is here. Somewhere. Aha, that's convenient. Yeah, once it got to Provo, Utah. Yeah, I don't like sitting in the tail section of a plane. I like sitting, like, either roughly where the wings are, near the engines and stuff, or just ahead of them. I don't want to be in the tail bit. That's the worst part. Nightmare, great to see some Southern Night trekking, but something is different with Squirrel. Right, let's have a look. Bakersfield. Barstow. That would add a lot of mileage. Gonna go through Provo, Utah. That's Salt Lake. That's where John Fly lives, I think. You don't mind being at the back. I don't like being at the back for two reasons. One, you get the worst of the engine sound. Like, if you're ahead of the engine, you get the nice engine sound. If you're behind the engine, you get the horrible combustion sound. And two, the tail section does that. And the further back you are, the more you feel it. In turbulence, you literally feel the plane doing this. If you sat over the wing, even in turbulence, it's nice and solid. How am I supposed to get out of here, by the way? Like, look where it put me. Like, seriously, game? And then they put containers behind you just as well, just so you can't reverse as well. Yeah, you don't want to be near the toilet. That's why you always go to Seat Guru and have a look. This is actually ridiculous. Mr. Elmick, thank you for 7 months. Yeah, with Seat Guru, you can just go, what exact plane are you flying? This. Okay, here's all the seats, and then you've got all people's comments. Sat here, the headphone jack didn't work. Sat there, right near the toilets, blah blah blah, bad smells. It's so good. You want bacon? I'll give you bacon. I bet he stops. Where's the police? What? It's done it again. Look. Look, there's no parking brake, but the parking brake is clearly on. It's so weird. If I'd have tapped the parking brake on and off, that would have worked. Yeah, you can find out the seats with a lot of leg room as well. It's really handy. Frimshaw, welcome back. Brody Hayton, welcome back. Papa Reagan, welcome back. 4 years. Blimey. Is there a good mod for the Beechcraft Starship out of P3D? I don't know. You'll have to ask some of the P3D guys. Yes, you got the daylight this time. Alright, Gamma, see you later, bro. You like the new screen layout, Nightmare? Thank you. Jimerick Flight Sim? I think the way things are going to work now, Jimerick, given that I'm getting a new PC very, very shortly, is I'll focus on the driving for now in the rig, get the rig finished off, then I'll get the new PC, then we'll start working on the flight sim. So maybe like 2-3 weeks. Yeah, it's not a bad truck actually. It drives pretty well. Great. I use cruise control on the highway. I don't think those fences really help with the visibility of people turning here. Yeah, I know what the fences are for, but they just don't help with visibility. Bakersfield. Just looked up Nostradam on Google and the first thing that came up is those damn cows. Lol. Right, the light's going to change before we get there. Of course they are. That's what lights do. It was always going to happen. Mr. Frimshaw, thank you for 8 months. David C. with double top. This button never gets old. How quick can you eat a Cadbury's cream egg? I've never timed myself doing that. Funnily enough. I mean, if you consider that they've made them so small now, they're almost the size of a mini egg. Not that long. Yep, these are going red as well. Perfect for keeping traffic flowing. Oh, we made it! Look at that! That was so close. The hotel on the left side is the one from Psycho. That sounds like a great place to stay. Wow, look at all the pump jacks. I mean, if they're not in operational use, why have they not been scrapped? This is the road with tumbleweed, probably. It's a complex problem, PC Kelly. Look at that. I had to rebuild my OBS completely from scratch, which took a long time. It's not liking this gear. You got 3 Easter eggs last year. It took you till mid-May to eat them all. You're not a chocolate fan. Don't you hate that when you don't actually like chocolate and then people buy you an Easter egg? Wow, that's a bit too much tumbleweed, I think. Like 1 or 2, that'd be fine. Like it literally looks like animals crossing the road. I'm just going to archive my OBS settings so that if it ever happens again, I've got something to go back to that isn't complete restart. I mean, right now it's behaving pretty well. This afternoon I was dropping packets, but I think Twitch was being twitchy. But skipped frames due to encoding lag 0. That's pretty good. Back up the OBS binaries. Well, I have nightly backups. I can always roll that back. The problem that, like, when the problem happens, you have to think to yourself, well, when do I know that it was last working okay? Like, where do I go back to? Get a full backup mark definitely working. The problem is, like, you probably do it and then in 4 months time get a problem and you're like, well, I can't really roll back 4 months because I've changed a bunch of stuff now. You have to remember to do it periodically. You still see micro stuff? There's no way. There's definitely... I'll prove it after the stream. Maybe you're not looking hard enough. Maybe. When I did all my testing, I looked pretty hard. Into Premiere, frame by frame. I don't know, Vanilla Donut. I do not know. There was something in my OBS scene that it was no longer happy about. I haven't got a clue what it was. Might have to drop a gear here. Depends how steep it gets. I'm not really sure which lane we're supposed to be in at this point. This one. I standard double frames, maybe something to do with NTS settings. Well, I did consider that it was something to do with, you know, because NTSC, strictly speaking, is 59.97. And so when you say stream at 60 FPS, there's a slight difference there. But it was happening like one frame every second, which is one frame every 60 frames. I don't know. It's just a really weird one. Have you ever thought of taking part in an iRacing endurance event such as Le Mans? I'll be in the 12-hour Sebring this Saturday, Matt. I don't know how long we'll be in the 12-hour Sebring, but we'll be in it on Saturday. At the start, we'll be there. At the end, probably not. I mean, just finishing a race like that takes a lot of effort. As you saw today, it's far too easy to just get a wheel on a grass and then you're done. Well, I will be practicing for the race. I don't know when. I was saying to the guys today, after the stream, we need to practice, fill up a tank 120 litres and then drive the whole thing without crashing until you get back to the pit with no fuel. That's one thing we need to do. Second thing, we need to put the track temperature right up and make sure we're comfortable in case the race happens to be on a very hot day. Third thing we need to do is make it nighttime and drive at night, because that's a completely different thing. And given it's a 12-hour race, certainly will be sections that are very dark. GT3 race. Overthought Gaming, thank you for 2 years. Yeah, there is, Donut. There really is a lot to do. Way too much. And if I remember, I'm actually out on Thursday evening, because that was put back from this week. I'm off seeing those guys I used to work with. Race like that, when you wreck, you can cut out or get repaired and continue. Yeah, but sometimes you, like, when we did the Nordschleife, I think we had a repair once that said 2 hours. You're not going to sit there for 2 hours. Mr. Donkey. 5-year sub Donkey. Thank you very much, sir. I don't think it does raining currently, Connor. I'm not sure. Well, Baz, it can happen to anybody. Any one of us could bin it. Any one of us. Just needs a slight lapse in concentration. Okay, let's just do 50 for no reason. Downhill, that's fine. Works for me. You'll finish the race. Hemper, I don't, like, if we was doing a 6-hour race, maybe. 12 hours? That takes a lot of effort. The chances of finishing a 12-hour race like that, you know, it really does depend how much practice you put in, I guess, but 12 hours is a long race. Yeah, I'm not going to be reading chat, Mickey. Like, I proved today that that's a bad idea. If I go to read a bit of chat, start answering a question, I'm not focusing. And I don't want the reason I binned it because I started reading chat. Wait, what's going on there? That was weird. I don't know, Baz. I personally think that I'm trying to think. A lap takes about just over 2 minutes, and I'm trying to think how much a full tank does. I think a full tank does, I think, $40, $50 laps maybe on a full tank. Probably just less than an hour. I kind of think that we should be changing after every full tank personally. But I'll see what the guys say. It'd be an interesting experience whenever it happens. Focus on driving without track incursions. Focus on driving without spinning off, that's the main thing. I'd be quite happy to start at the back of the grid, to be honest. It's just because I know, even though it's an endurance race, there'll be people who just bin it in the first lap. especially if it's quite hot. Well, I mean, what people have said, Baz, is that with an endurance race, you drive for 9 hours and race for 3. That's probably a fair assessment, given that a lot of people, after 9 hours, a lot of people won't even be there. And then you spend the next 3 hours racing the rest of them. But, you know, you saw my lap times, like, it's not, against a lot of the drivers though, it's just not competitive yet, so I'm not ever going to be in the top 10 of that race, I don't think. My only goal with that is to finish and get the experience. That's literally all I would like to take out of it. Exactly, just finishing 12 hours is a long time to do. Just finishing that would be good. I'm not doing that, Baz. Like, the last thing I would want to do is, you know, make, like, if Puppies was driving, make Puppies laugh. That would be a really bad idea. The usual start time, hipster. I think the race starts, I can't remember, it's either 12 or 1 PM on Saturday. I need to look up the exact start time. Mr. Lockyer, thank you for 40 months. I don't know, Daniel, you just tend to laugh at everything. Do you know what? I wouldn't mind a coffee, and I've got a feeling Mrs. Squirrel's gone out. I might have to make my own coffee. Yeah, but Bass is probably going to be in the Discord room. Probably all 4 of us are going to be in the Discord room. Racing line. I need the caffeine right now, Red Devil. It's really weird. I can drink as much tea as I want, and even though it's got caffeine in it, I don't feel it. If I drink coffee, I feel it. I don't get that. There's a push to talk button. Yep. Coffee and cake. Actually, we've got angel cake. Might get a piece of angel cake and a coffee. That'd be good. Wait, why is there a biplane over there? Do you see that? Ah, there's an aerodrome. Love Delta Airlines. Their comfort class upgrade is $50. I flew Delta on the connecting flight from LA to Vegas. I mean, I remember the seats in comfort class being a little bit wider, but you had to get in business class to get a free coffee. I thought that was a bit pathetic. Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't put the F-Mod sound pack on that Red Bull. This guy must be carrying eggs or something. I wish they had an altimeter in the dash so you could see what altitude you are as you go up and down the hills. Ooh, chopper. Yeah, you go rubberneck and I'm gonna drive past. Whoa! Nice driving! 10 out of 10. Somebody was rubbernecking and not actually watching what was in their mirrors. Get pitted. Worth $900. I bet she didn't get fined $900 when she turned into me. That's one more Prius off the road. Yes! Another small victory. Hey, what? What? How can you be okay? Oh, really? Hang on, how much damage have we got? 2%? Let's see if it gives me a $200 fine then. I'm curious as to how this works. Yep, you get fined for damage. It's ridiculous. I had 5% damage and I got fined $500. Let's see what 2% does for us. Wow, we didn't get fined. That's interesting. So what does that mean? It means under 5% doesn't count? Or it's random as to whether they fine you? It should offer you an option to bribe the inspector. So yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Squirrel, that's a $500 fine. Listen, Jeff, right? If I just bung you $100 and we just forget about the whole thing, yeah? That'll be fine, Mr. Squirrel. On you go. It'd be great if you could do that. Based on forms, 5% is the threshold. And has anybody tested the values yet? Like to see what kind of percentage versus fine you get? Yeah, I already said that about 2 hours ago, Alistair. One of the guys in my flight group has paid 300 quid and got him and converted his license to Ireland. Why did he get a fine for damage? I don't know. Maybe they do that at way stations in America, I don't know. Changing speeding fines to dynamic. Well, at the moment, a fixed penalty means if you go through a speeding thing, if you get caught for speeding in the game, you get a fixed penalty of whatever it is. What the dynamic means is it depends on how much you break the speed limit. Which is how they do it. There's various countries in Europe do that. So every 1 mile an hour over the speed limit, you get fined X amount. That's what dynamic means. Would that mean the person flying the group may not be able to fly in the UK but transfer a license to Ireland? I don't know. Nobody knows really what it means yet. It's just very annoying. Mr. D, thank you for 63 months. Loving the new setup. Thank you. Wow. All those wood panel sedans. Yeah, but Daniel, there is no such thing as, like, income in this game in that sense, is there? Like, in Germany, you get fined every mile an hour over the speed limit, you get fined a certain amount, I think. I seem to remember Whiteland saying that's how it is in Norway or maybe Sweden. I can't remember. I think in those countries they do look at your income. But for example, say somebody from the UK drove in Germany and got a fine. They can't look at your income, so they give you a penalty based on your speed. It doesn't mean anything for PPL holders, Cav. If you're in the UK, if you go flying in Europe, it might mean something different. PPLs be transferred from ESA to CAA? Yeah, I assume so. We just don't know yet. It also depends on whether there's some kind of reciprocal agreement between CAA and EASA. So, you know, they recognize each other's licenses, which makes life easier for everybody. For example, I'm on a CAA license or an EASA license. I can't go to America and hire a plane because you need an FAA approved license. To do that, I need to go and find an FAA instructor who can basically certify me, and you know, I go up in a plane with him, and then he asks me a bunch of questions and then goes fine and gives me an FAA license. It's just ridiculous. It's because each license has different requirements, limits, training. You're on an ICAO license, South Africa. It's certainly a problem for, you know, pilots who work for, say, EasyJet, because they need to fly in Europe a lot. Nuclearm is fire. Thank you for your sub. Uh-oh. The beard is more high definition. $300,000 peanuts. Wow. That's insane. Curly D, I don't know. It could have been a bunch of people. Statistically, it was probably Watchtower. But there was Rye and a bunch of others gifting a lot of subs. You're running out of fuel? Rip.